Yeah, so that's like that line, it's horizontal septum, so it's a horizontal line. Spiracularis. So yeah, these are tricky because it's not very clear. Where was I working? Oh yeah, it's back here. So we have the spiracle, which is this hole, right? And then before that, we have the spiracularis, and before that is the levator palato-quadrati, which that's on your list, don't worry about that. So just if you look on the spiracle, it's gonna be hard to show you guys because it was like really hard to open this, but if the spiracle's here, then the muscle right in front of that is gonna be your spiracularis, okay? So can you kind of see that? Ish. Spiracle's here, the muscle right in front of that is a spiracularis, yeah? Okay, and then what do we have next? So we got the spiracle, the adductor mandibulae. So we tried to like write some little clues on here to help you guys out, but the adductor mandibulae, it closes the jaw. So if you look, this is the Meckel's cartilage, this white part. And the adductor mandibulae is this big piece here. So that's gonna be what picks up the jaw, okay? So that's really easy to see. It's just this really big piece. And then the cucularius, so that is, okay, so let's go through the gills first. I think that'll be easier. So here, obviously these are the pharyngeal slits, right? Another term for gills. And then right above that, you have, this is cut a little bit. So if you look on both, it has like these lines. You see that? So those lines are gonna be your rafts, tomato, not sure. I'm gonna say rafts. And then the space between them, that's your dorsal superficial branchial constrictor. Okay, and then the rafts are the white connective tissue that was on your quiz, okay? And then, let's see what's underneath that. And then underneath that, so we have on top, the dorsal superficial branchial constrictor, and that's this part, and then the gills. And then under here, you can see where these like lines extend, and those are the ventral superficial branchial constrictors. That's a mouthful. Okay, and then if you look kind of in this area, right here, before like the first raph, you're gonna have this big section, which is the dorsal hyoid constrictor. And then here, like, if you're looking at it this way, on the right side of the spiracle, you have the levator hyomandibulae, and then this bigger section is what did I just say? Is the dorsal hyoid constrictor. So if you look in the book, it says the dorsal hyoid constrictor goes until like the first raph, right? And then you get into the dorsal superficial branchial constrictor. Okay, and then if you look at the spiracle, directly to the right of it is going to be your levator hyomandibulae, so that's going to be here. And then what I said earlier, to the left of it is your spiracularis. Okay, that's back in here. Let me see what else is on here. Okay, so then kind of close by the adductor mandibulae, which is this part underneath here, like basically in front of the ventral superficial branchial constrictor, you're gonna have the intermandibularis. If you think mandible, that's like jaw, right? So intermandibularis is gonna be in this region. Okay, I think that's it. Scapular process. That's really hard to see, but if you look above the pectoral fin, there's gonna be this like white kind of bar looking. That's this piece. So it's not super clear in here, but can everybody kind of see that? It's this like white bar. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's gonna be your scapular process. What else is on here? Your epibranchial. So this is your epaxial musculature, right? So your epibranchial is basically an anterior extension of that goes into the head. So that's going to be this top part, but more this way is your epibranchial. If you think branchial, gills, so above the gills. What else do we have on here? I think that's it. Do you mind flipping the page for me? Let me see. Yeah, I think that's it. Interhyoideus is written on here twice. Sorry about that. Okay, so now if we go underneath, well, first we'll just do like the external stuff. So you guys know the ampullae of Lorenzini? Yeah, so those are, do you know what that is? Everybody knows what ampullae of Lorenzini? Yeah. So those are these little black dots around the head in the nose. So that you're gonna see externally. This is the nares, also the nose, but in this case it's called the nares. The labial fold is like what goes over the mouth kind of. So it's like this piece is on the corner. We have the Meckel's cartilage here. Also the adductor mandibulae, just so you can see it from the bottom, it's on both sides. Okay, so when you look under here, like the main muscle, which you can kind of see it on this one, it's kind of like a triangular shape. This is the intermandibulares. So the intermandibulares, it elevates the floor of the mouth. So it also works with the adductor mandibulae. So those are going to be right next to each other here. And then you see like this little piece on either side that comes up. Mm-hmm. So these two, that goes to the intermandibulares. That is the, I cannot say this word, but it's the coracoarcule. Coracoarcule. Say that 10 times. So that's this piece on either side, okay? And then that's gonna basically connect to the intermandibulares here. And then the linea alba is this middle piece, which you can maybe see it better in here. So if you guys started to remove this connective tissue, it looked like the shark has abs, right? Okay, so the linea alba is like what separates the left and the right, basically. So that's super easy. Your coracoid bar, I don't think is on the list, but it's nice because it kind of helps you with the other stuff, but that's this middle piece here is the coracoid bar. Okay, so we went down that stuff. Okay, now here's where it gets tricky because we have to cut into the muscle to look at stuff. So basically, if you follow the diagram and also follow the instructions in the book, it's gonna have you make this like triangular cut. And you're gonna be cutting the intermandibulares because when we peel that back, we're gonna see the interhyoideus, the coracohyoid, the hyomandibular, all that stuff. So it's like a super fine muscle between the intermandibulares and the interhyoideus. So maybe you'll see on here. You can kind of see on here how like it's like two layers. It's not the easiest thing to see. Maybe on this one. So, okay, so I peeled back the whole piece. So I took both of them off but if you look on this side, it's really thick. And if you like really look at it, you can kind of see how it's 2 layers. So basically the top layer is the intermandibularis, and then underneath is the interhyoideus, which I apologize, I don't have a good one to show you, but it's a very, very fine muscle to separate it. And actually, this might be it. Yeah, I actually think that's it. So we have the intermandibularis and then the interhyoideus. And then underneath that, we have, so that's when we get into the, we have the coracomandibular. So this is what opens the mouth. So if you just think about it this way, I think it's really helpful. So that's gonna help open the mouth. So it's gonna depress the Meckel's cartilage. So it has to pull down the Meckel's cartilage, okay? So this is the Meckel's cartilage. If you look in here, if I can pull back all this stuff, you see this bar here? That's the coracomandibular, okay? And that's why we have on there, it's the throat hot dog. And then I'll show you the hot dog buns. So this is gonna go all the way up to the Meckel's cartilage, and it's gonna help depress the Meckel's cartilage. Can you guys all see? Yeah? Okay. And then, so you see on this side, you see the hot dog bun? Yeah? So that's gonna be your coracohyoid. Right? Yeah, throat hot dog buns, coracohyoid. So if I am able to get in here and lift all this up, you can see 2 hot dog buns, right? You see those 2? And then the coracomandibular is the hot dog that runs in the middle of it. Does that make sense? Okay, so we did that. Okay, so I think that's that. We did the, yeah, okay. And then if you get into the dorsal muscle, like, I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. It's what stabilizes the dorsal fin, so it's gonna be the muscle going into the dorsal fin. And then if we look at the pectoral fins, so underneath, we have the pectoral adductor, because that's gonna be what depresses the pelvic fin. So which side did I have it on? I think it's underneath here. Yeah, so if you look underneath here, this is just the muscle that goes into the pectoral fins. You just have to remember which is which. So on the ventral side is the pectoral adductor, versus on the dorsal side, which I have it here, is the pectoral abductor, okay? And then that's basically the same in the pelvic fins as well. And the siphon, so if we go to, I think it said it was on page 89. I'm just kidding, there's nothing there. Okay, so yeah, on page 90, we can see basically the siphon is the muscle inside the clasper, okay? So that's pretty easy to remember. And then I showed you the scapular process, which is that white bar on the pectoral fin. So I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, do you guys have any questions? Was all that pretty clear? Obviously you're not gonna remember it right now, but I think we went through everything and you could see it in the video. Okay, so yeah, just go back through and, you know, study that or whatever. Study the diagrams in your book. If you want to take a couple pictures like underneath here, just so it's clear, like when we get into the hot dog stuff.